Hey everyone, it's Tim from Linessa Farms, specialty in heirloom livestock. Thanks for joining us again today. So we got a question from one of our viewers about handling sheep and goats. She's got some wild sheep and some wild goats that are out on pasture and a little bit hard for them to catch and deal with. So today we're going to go over some topics to help you handle sheep and goats in a more user-friendly manner than you probably are using right now. Stay tuned to find out more. Okay, so we're going to talk about building a general catch pen. I like to refer to it as a catch pen. This is a very economical way to build a little area that you can actually catch your animals in. And you can do this with probably about a $50 investment at your local farm store, or maybe even with material that you have around the house. It only takes a couple T-posts, some zip ties, and some cattle panels or some hog panels. And we're going to go into detail about how to do that outside. But before we go out there, I just want to kind of draw it for you on the board so you could see what it is that we're going to use. So most of the time what I will use is four 16-foot hog panels. And with that, you're going to need four 3.5 foot to 4 foot, depending on what you want, T-post. And you're going to need some zip ties. And really, that's all you're going to need to build what we like to call a catch pen. So what a catch pen is exactly what it sounds like. It's an area that we are going to utilize in order to more efficiently catch our animals, do what we need to do, and get them out. And what you're going to see when we go outside is you are going to set up 4 T-posts in a cross formation like this. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to put one 16-foot panel here, one 16-foot panel here, and you guessed it, one here and one here, and it's going to kind of make an oval. The benefit of this is every one of these intersections, as you'll see when we get out there, is actually held together with zip ties. And what we can do is at any time we can open up any side of this. So if I have animals over in this area and I want to run them in, what I can do is I can unzip tie that panel. Because it's curved, it'll want to spring out and it'll straighten itself out. And I can easily run my animals in this way, or vice versa. At any time I could run them in up here, whatever. That's the reason that we want to utilize this circle. Circle does a couple important things. One, if you have a rectangular pen and you have livestock in there and you go in there and stand in there, your animals, beautiful drawing. If you go in there, your animals are instinctively going to want to run to a corner. And they're going to put a lot of pressure on the corners. They're going to tear up the fence. They're going to get hurt. They're going to get stuck. Where if I go into a circular pen, what's going to happen? I think that guy's even better than the first one. If we go into the circular pen, what's going to happen is animals are going to want to tend to run in a circular motion since there's not a corner to go to. And it's going to keep them a lot safer, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to grab them. Very simple setup, very easy to use. The other thing is whenever you're done, this is what I like most about these catch pens, is whenever you're done, you can take those panels out and just leave your T-posts right in the ground. And then all you've got is just 4 little T-posts out there in your field or out in your pasture. And they're easy to mow around, they're easy to work through, and then the next time you need to use them, you can go in and zip tie up your panels, get it done in a few minutes, and you're done. The other thing is you can utilize this as a temporary pen to hold your animals if maybe you wanted to have them out for some reason, or if you've got a show or something that you want to do, or you even need to set up a sick pen or a lambing pen. This is the way to do it. So let's head outside and take a look at the actual catch pen that we have made. All right, so here we are outside, and one thing that I didn't mention that I wanted to bring up is rule number 1 on the farm, and I've taught this to my kids ever since they were little. If you asked any of my kids or anybody that's worked for me before, say, what's the number 1 rule of raising sheep or goats? The answer that they're going to give you is don't chase the sheep and goats. If you find yourself in a situation where you're out there chasing them down and running after them, you might as well forget it. Like, walk away, give them a break, let them chill out, and then come back later. Because what ends up happening is they get way too stressed out. They kind of get in that mode that they want to run and they want to flee from you. And you're not going to do yourself any favors, and you're going to end up in trouble. It's better to just leave, let them get calm, and then allow them to come back. So we have a couple things. This is a Rattle Paddle. A lot of hog farmers will use this. It actually has some sound in the bottom. I like to use this more for getting their attention than anything, but the benefit of both of these, and this is obviously a shepherd's hook or a shepherd's crook, however, depending on where you're from in the world, depends on what you call it. But the best part about these is you're increasing the size of your footprint more than catching the animals. This allows you to kind of get their attention and keep them from going somewhere that you don't want them to go or to move them. So if I have an animal that's trying to slowly go by me this way, I can extend this paddle out and kind of keep them at bay, gently move them up, maybe just barely touch them with the back end of it. These things aren't used as like weapons or for corporal punishment. We don't hit our animals or anything like that. The other thing, you can always extend your arm. You're widening your footprint. It makes it a lot easier for you to move the animals around. And you can very simply do the same thing with your shepherd staff. I like to hold mine with the hook out like this. This is easy enough to use. I can hook maybe onto a leg or onto the neck of the animal. But again, any tools that you're using, you don't want to be rough with the animals and you don't want to hurt them. You don't want them associating these things with pain or punishment or anything like that, because then they're going to be afraid of it, and that's not what you want to do. Best part about these, again, just extending your reach and extending things out to where the animals utilize it as a tool to keep them going where they want to go. The other best thing about these that a lot of people don't realize is if you have a really aggressive animal, if you have an aggressive ram especially, the best thing that you can do with this, if you have an aggressive ram that's in front of you, you can take this point and you can point it right in his face at a distance from you, and he will stop at that point. They actually utilize this in training tigers and other animals as well. So you can get this point right in front of them, right in front of their eyeballs, and they will stop. They very rarely will want to go around it and come at you. And as long as you keep them at bay with this point, sometimes it can give you enough seconds to get away from them. I've used this tool with bulls. I've used it with sheep, rams, and with bucks. So let's look at our catch pen here so we can kind of get an idea of what I was talking about. So I've set up this little miniature catch pen here for you just so you can see. I even threw a couple little guys out here for you so you can see how it works. But again, we've got our panels, and if you come over here and look at the way I drove my T-post in, you can see that the T-post has an angle right here on both sides, and these fit right in there. And I only have 4 T-posts, so I have 4 16-foot panels that you can see. It makes this nice oval, and you can see they all kind of lock in up against this T-post. And the reason that I do that is pretty simple. That way when I cut they actually kind of want to slide in here and stay. This way when I cut my zip ties, they don't come flying out at me. I'm actually going to cut these zip ties right now. And what you're going to see is it doesn't move at all. There, zip ties are cut. I always want to pick these up and put them in my pocket because I don't want my animals to chew on them and swallow them. But here's what we were talking about inside the shop before we came out. Now, if I need to open this up, I can simply pop this out. I can swing this open as large or as small as I need to. And what I can do, I can set this up quickly and easily out on my pasture. I can put food in it and just open it up, and I let my animals come in here maybe to get some grain or get something that they like, or even if I have to kind of push them to get in there, I just open it up, I let them go in. I have somebody standing here, we let them go in. Once they're in, we just nice and calmly close this up, lock it in place, zip tie it back down, and it only takes 3 or 4 zip ties. Zip tie it back down and you're ready to go. Now I have my animals inside this pen where they're very easy for me to get to. And again, if I'm moving my animals around inside of these pens, the benefit of having the curve is that there's not a corner that they can get into. And so as I move them around and as they move away from me, they tend to want to move in a circular motion to get away from me. Now obviously I have very calm, easy going animals here. But you can pack a lot of animals into this space. The more you get them and the less room that they have to move around, probably the easier it's going to be for you to handle. But again, with you and a friend or you and a couple people, this is going to save you so much legwork and so much hassle. I think you're really going to enjoy it. The other nice thing that we talked about inside the shop as well is that at any time when I'm done with this, I can simply cut all my zip ties and pull my panels out and just leave my T-posts. Or if I want, I can pull the T-posts out of the ground too, and I can just move this wherever. But yeah, for a little amount of money, this is the way to go. And even if you're making lambing pens or you're making anything else, this is the idea that I'd like you to start incorporating on your farm, is utilize these panels to make circular pens. You're gonna get, it's a lot safer for the animals, it's a lot safer for you, and you're gonna get a lot more done. You can actually make a circular panel, circular pen with one or two of these and be just as good. So that's it. So hopefully that helped to answer your question a little bit on an easier, better way to handle your animals, or at least to catch your animals, and how to build a catch pen. So with that being said, I'm Tim from Linessa Farms, specialty in heirloom livestock. Thanks for joining us again, and I look forward to seeing you next time.